Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful 16th edition of your friendly neighborhood watch. Here with your co-hosts, the one and only Peter Venkman.
Hello.
And yours truly, Dr. K.
Yes.
Tonight, I should say, at this wonderful witching hour of 1:20 in the morning, wonderful Pacific Northwest time, Peter and I are going to bring to your wonderful attention the Australian masterpiece.
Yes.
Masterpiece.
Yep.
That is Wyrmwood, Road of the Dead.
Definitely. And it's about time.
It is finally.
Yep, it's finally here.
We've only talked about it like every single episode.
Every single episode since we started.
Yeah. And you said, dang it, you know what? We're going to do 2 episodes 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Because I'm being banished to the People's Republic of California.
The wilds.
For 2 weeks.
Yep.
So we got to get another episode here under our belt before I'm gone.
Yeah. And it worked out.
And it did.
The stars aligned.
It did.
The universe did it for us.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So
we're working like regular working stiffs
I know.
these days. Watching movies,
Yep.
talking about how good
it's a tough job.
Zombies Down Under are.
Yep.
So where to start with this film?
Oh, man.
The look, the feel,
Yeah.
how excellently it was executed. We said this time and again watching it.
Right.
This is the second time together that we've watched this
Uh-huh.
film. We watched it a couple of years ago, three or it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was
Maybe
kind of
4
like when I
years ago.
first moved here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must have been almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'd like to do too is how did you find? Because you were the one that brought it to my attention. How did you find it?
Okay.
What was that experience like?
Yes. Okay. It's the dumbest thing. Ready?
Uh-huh.
So you know, for how great the internet is and looking for stuff, I was shopping at Target, and they had it under the. They had a whole bunch of IFC stuff.
Yeah.
Independent Film Channel.
Yeah, right.
Straight to DVD, or DVD. Otherwise, I don't know. If it's straight to DVD.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure.
it was
Yeah.
there, and so I picked up the box, and I'm like, that looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And on the box it says, if Mad Max was a zombie movie or whatever the quote is on it.
Like sold.
And so I just rolled the dice and said, F it. I'm buying it. I'm $14 in, and it was one of the best bets you could take.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you get lucky.
That was a lucky strike.
Yep. And it is so fantastic. The fact too that it was, they funded the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
It was crowdfunded.
Yep.
And they took them 4 years to shoot it.
Crazy.
The same bunch of guys. Unheard of by Hollywood standards. Stuff like that just gets shit canned, and then you get so tied up in who owns the rights to what, it just dies a horrible death.
Right.
Whereas this did the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
Hey, we need money. Let's ask people for money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Kickstarter. Give us some money.
Yeah.
Or GoFundMe or whatever it was back then. But yeah, such a fantastic spin on what it means to be zombie, especially when that's kind of hard to do these days. How do we reinvent zombies? But man, putting it down under, having an Aborigine be one of your main characters with Benny, who is to look at. He's so fantastic.
He steals the movie.
He made the best zombie too. Out of all the
He
zombies
did.
in this film.
Yeah.
When we finally see him zombie out at the end, there is kind of the only good zombie.
Yeah.
He just looks fantastic.
He does.
Oh.
He stole the movie, man. He stole the movie.
His lines are just cherry. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep. He
It's
needs
like
to be in more things.
it's like Stallone and Schwarzenegger at home crying because he really gives just one-liners for most of the film.
I know.
And they're deadpan.
It's great.
Perfect.
It's great.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, and it's so great, man. Like, so I'm just looking it up right now, and it's 2014.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, and I moved here in 2015. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So that was it. Yeah. And I probably just I hadn't
just
had it
seen
that long.
kind
Yeah.
of, right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it just, from the moment it starts, it doesn't let up.
Oh, right.
Just
yeah.
like
Isn't that great?
There's no slow burn.
No.
There's no.
Oh man, no.
It's just right away you're into the thick of it, and they got the armor on, and that's the smart way to start it too.
It really is.
Like give the people what they want.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Just start into it.
Yeah.
And it's such a great. It's Tarantino gets so much props for telling things out of order.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not the only one who's in that game, and the guys who did this film really did that awesome of dropping you not even in the middle, still towards the front of what we see happen, but not at the beginning, right? You know, we kind of backtrack a little bit and see stuff in flashbacks, which you're only flashing back one day.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool way to do it.
Yeah,
I think for sure. Yeah.
Hey, man. Let us in there. Somebody.
There's fucking zombies everywhere. It was great.
How can we get in there? Just run round.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, where do we? I don't know. It's like, how do we? We're just gonna have to keep bouncing around on all the awesome parts, I think, because it's
there's so many.
Yeah,
there are so many.
And you know, it's like all the best zombie movies. There's not much. We don't have to spend much on the story.
No,
it's a very simple story.
Yeah,
it's very straightforward. You know, it's like, obviously it's some kind of airborne zombie plague.
Right. Came down on the meteors, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of hint about what's going on.
Yeah, with the shooting stars.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. But we're not too hung up on the whys, and they do. I mean, we were just saying this right before we pressed record, but they do a real good job of not just telling you what's going on, right? You kind of have to figure it out.
Yep.
And the great thing, why we think there should be a dang sequel, is they don't explain how the sister Brooke becomes queen of the zombies, right? We kind of get that she's being experimented on.
Yeah.
But there's definitely so much potential there.
Totally.
I mean, just that idea. I mean, that was so awesomely out of hey, no one else did this.
Yeah,
right?
Two great ideas, really.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's the real genius of this movie was, the idea of her being queen of the zombies with the Empire force.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that's so cool. You know?
Yes.
Like, why haven't we? Yeah, that's of course. Like that's a beautiful mashup there. Of her being able to telepathically control this army of zombies.
Totally. Yep.
And then the gas fueled zombies.
Right. Right.
I mean,
the fact that they negate the power of all gasoline and petrol, but then they make gasoline and petrol, which they run on at night,
I know.
but which they just fart out their own breath in the day. So all you have to do is catch them and hook them up to your propane tank. And
I don't. Where does an idea like that come from? Like what? I can't even begin to wrap my head around that.
I know, right?
Like, they're sitting there writing a zombie movie, and they're like, what can we do differently? You know?
Yeah.
I know.
Get this.
I mean, I guess it had to have come because they do wear their influence on the sleeve with the George Miller.
Definitely.
Mad Max stuff.
Yeah.
So,
there are some just straight up tributes. With the camera on the bumper shots of the road. I mean, that's as Miller as you can possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
But and then again too, we said this a ton watching it. They aren't overt in doing. There was that case, but there aren't a whole lot. There's like little nods towards Evil Dead of a couple of them, but they're not overtly ripping it up. They're not doing that kind of Family Guy thing where you just mock what actually happened, right?
Right, exactly.
Which is fine in parody, but in film, when you start doing that, that becomes super fucking cheeky, right?
Yeah, right.
I've heard De Palma talk about that, and he's like, "That shit. Who wants to make movies like that?" Yeah. It's funny because that's our generation is riddled with that sort of stuff, right? Like, we'll just redo that. We'll just redo that. We'll just redo that.
Yeah. And it usually doesn't work.
Right. Exactly. But
this was
tactfully done. These guys, killed it.
Yeah, it was like we were saying, like it felt like they were good students of Sam Raimi and Peter Jackson, and they really studied those guys.
Totally, and Romero,
Yep. And they just because they did it. That's the thing. If you're gonna copy something, then you got to do it really well,
dude.
And
you got to up the level, right?
And up the level and amp it up, and
yes.
And there's all that stuff with the girl with the kimono on and the painted face.
Oh man,
I mean, that was pure Evil Dead.
Yes, pure Evil Dead. Could just, without doing some shot for shot sort of thing where it's obviously Evil Dead. Yeah, but it reeks of it awesomely.
Yeah, it's like a really good band doing some guitar stuff where you're like, oh, that reminds me so much of how he plays guitar, but it's different enough to be his own thing, but it really calls back to that. And
so true. So true.
I mean, I love it, man. It's yeah. She's sitting there with the arms and splayed around and her head's whipping around and
Yep.
And then the classic like sped up, like she looks over her shoulder shot and the camera kind of bounces.
Scream into camera as it shakes. Yeah.
Like it was all there in evidence, but they sped it up even, I think.
Right. Oh, totally. So yeah.
That was cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Reanimator, right? With the berserker doctor in this one, there's definitely a nod to a great many themes in Reanimator without really just knocking Reanimator off, right?
Yeah.
You've still got the kind of Herbert West.
Yep.
Weirder. I mean, this guy's just totally.
He's a nutball.
Freaking nutball berserk. Yeah. He's like Max Headroom meets Herbert West.
Man.
And then mash that up and grind it up a little bit and make him a weird, mescaline junkie or whatever he's huffing.
Yeah. You're making me you're making me regret that I didn't get that Max Headroom series when I saw it at Walmart.
Oh no! You saw it?
I saw like the complete series and it was like, $14 or something, and I didn't get it. Why didn't I get it?
I know. Come on, Pete. You dropped the ball out. Well, we can't do it right every time.
No. But that was a good series.
Yes.
Max Headroom.
Oh man, it was great. It was fantastic. I mean, talk about seeing the future, right? Oh man.
Yeah.
Disturbingly so.
Really. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, man. And that's such a great. We're tangenting again, but
of course. Because we do.
Yeah, because that's what we do.
Come on, we haven't gotten to Lorenzo Lamas yet, so we're okay.
Right,
we're all right.
Right.
We're still in the yellow.
We'll save him for later. But that's one of the great things about the 80s, which we've talked about a lot too. It's that whole thing of Max Headroom. Was it a comedy? Was it an action? Was it a sci-fi? Was it a horror? I don't, who was the audience? Right. All of those things are very ambiguous.
It was all of those things. You're absolutely right. Yeah, like with no real fine, not like any specific direction.
Yeah, right.
Just mash all of that in there.
It was not. Yeah, you couldn't fit it into an easy genre. It wasn't. It wasn't like, we'll put this up after Growing Pains.
Right.
It was like, it's like, where do you fit that?
Or after Smurfs on Saturday morning,
right?
Or something, right? Like
just,
where is that going on?
Yeah. Who's your audience?
Yep. Yep.
And,
but it was us.
It was us. That's right. It was us. It was crazy 13-year-olds.
Yes. So true.
Yeah, but yeah, that Max Headroom doctor. He was even a little bit of Tarantino with the dancing to
definitely
the make a little love. Yeah. That whole scene.
Yeah.
Was great.
Yes.
I mean, I love the other thing too, which I love about this whole thing is, of course, like every young filmmaker wants to make a zombie movie or a horror movie to start off with.
Yep.
Like you were saying earlier, it's that's the gateway into Hollywood.
It is absolutely
to just kind of like it's a really rough, raw way of it's GarageBand,
Oh yeah, totally.
It's like it's like this will show how I can make a story.
That's right. And the thing is, the people that you're trying to eventually appeal to, right, the big bosses, they all know that too, and it really is the way to kind of to get your foot in the door, and if it's not even expected, my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, that's what he's trying to do in Hollywood. It's the same thing. He's like, he gets together with a bunch of writers and they do these big powwows, and everything they're finding out, it's like, if you want to break in to Hollywood, do a horror movie. And I think we talked about this when we were watching too, but it's because horror movies have such a long tradition of movies that will gross huge amounts of money that have zero budget.
Yes.
And they're the only genre that really allows for that, where you can really do that. Even comedy, you would think comedy.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you don't have big blockbuster comedies with a bunch of no-name actors in it. You'll have really good comedies that don't necessarily have a huge production value, but you have to pay Jim Carrey or whoever. I'm not picking on Jim Carrey.
Exactly.
You've got to pay somebody to get people in the seats in the first place. And that's a huge expense, right? Whereas with horror movies, you get a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
You get directors who are super hungry to do something good. You get writers who are hungry to do something good. And then, I mean, look at how much great horror we have because of that.
I know. That's so true. It's funny you said Jim Carrey, though, too, because I really feel like that the first Ace Ventura was kind of like that.
Sure.
But, like, that's a 1 in a million thing that happens.
Totally.
Like, that was a super low budget comedy, and it just
right. And wasn't expected to blow up the way
Right.
it did.
And
It went
just
nuclear. Yeah.
nuclear.
Yeah.
But like, you can't count
Right.
on that ever happening again for
Right.
a long time. So, but what's great then is, so you get these young filmmakers, they're going to make a zombie movie, but, A, they really love the material.
Right. So important.
And B, they respect the material.
That's right.
Those two things are huge already. Like,
That's right.
like
Yep.
we already know the guys that are making Wyrmwood, they're not doing this just to make a quick buck.
So true.
Know?
Yeah. It's immediately apparent.
Yeah.
You know, and this is not to pat ourselves on the back, but we can smell that shit a mile away.
Yeah.
When it's just a bunch of producers
Yep.
who got together
Right.
to crank out a piece of
Right.
shit. Right.
And they're
it
gonna
reeks
make
of it.
they're gonna make transmorphers.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Like, we've all seen those horrible, idiotic
kill me.
knockoffs, right?
Yes.
That are
Yep.
just they're like the bum sitting there with the little can
Yeah.
for coins. Give me money, give me money.
Please
Give me
buy a
money.
ticket. Yeah. Yes.
But this is not that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the exact opposite
Yeah.
of that, in fact. Yeah.
So so you have, they love what they're doing, they respect the material,
Yep.
and then C, they're really damn good too.
Exactly.
Like-
right?
like-
The execution
yeah.
is phenomenal.
The
in this
execution
film.
is phenomenal.
Shot after shot.
The
Yeah.
makeup too. I mean,
Yeah.
the special effects. Like, that's the other thing too. Like, we would expect a low budget horror movie to have like pretty shoddy special effects.
Absolutely.
Or you know, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we can tell, like, that's just a bunch of red paint you're using for blood, or
Right.
But this is not that. Like, this,
Right.
all of the blood and gore and the zombies biting into necks and stuff, and the tendons and the raw meat, like, it's all great.
It really is. It really
like
is.
Hollywood level.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
awesomeness, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, man, they just really.
Yeah, and the fact that it took them again, it's just incredible that it took them 4 years or 5 years or whatever it was
just on
to
and
piece it
off.
all together, and it came out so good.
It's seamless.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell that, like, this started over here, and then 3 years later it's over here.
Right.
That was really well done.
Yep. Only in Australia, maybe.
Yeah. The only weak point for me, I was thinking about it, and it's not really that even a big deal. And I was also thinking, like, well, it was the music.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, like, but how could the music be better? I don't know. I don't know.
So here's the problem, Pete, is that we have just watched a handful of great horror movies that all had had exceptionally good music.
That's the problem.
And I will totally agree with you. Yeah. This one, the music does not. You don't really. There's never a time when we sat there and said, "Oh yeah, that sounds great."
Yeah.
Whereas when we just watched the first two Hellraisers, we're like, "Dang, the music's fantastic!"
Yes.
Right? Or when we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, we're like,
same
"Oh, so awesomely done!" And Friday the 13th, the first one, which it's just the approach, not even that the music was so great, but how they used the sound design and how you use music. You're like, oh, this is just it's just
really,
fantastic.
really smart. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
And whereas this film, it was just kind of like that. It didn't really matter all that much. Yeah.
It was pretty standard and kind of just like
Yeah. I wonder too if that had to do, because this one has a lot of quick edit stuff in it, and I wonder if I'm spitballing here, but I wonder if that's not as conducive to score maybe as some other ones. Like, just speaking of Hellraiser, because we just did that episode last night, that doesn't have very much quick edit stuff in it, and so you've got time for the music to like percolate and build and everything behind it. Whereas this has a ton of those, like, chop chop pow 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 pow. Now we're gonna go back in time. Now we're gonna go forward in time. Now we're gonna go step on the throttle. You know.
No, that's a really good point, actually, and it made me it makes me think of one of our favorites in an early episode of ours too, Evil Dead 2.
Right.
The music on that one doesn't really come out to the fore when I think about that movie either.
No, totally.
And it's the same kind of style. It's super fast. One thing after another.
Right. You're just you're in a line waiting to get beat up by the movie, right?
Right.
It's just there to pound you, and grind you into submission.
Yeah. That's so true. So true. Yeah, so you can't really go minimal like the Nightmare on Elm Street thing, because that's not gonna.
There's no time really
it's
for it.
It's not gonna fit the pace either. Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can't be huge and epic like Christopher Young and Hellraiser.
Right.
Because there's no time for that either.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so what are some of your favorite parts of this movie? Let's try it.
It's so strewn with them, right?
I know.
Oh,
one that comes to my mind is and I think the music was good there too, was when he does his Charlton Heston thing after he kills his wife and daughter.
Yes.
And then he tries to kill himself, and there's no more nails left in the gun, and he just whips his head back. Nah.
Yep.
That was great.
Yep. Pure Charlton Heston. Yep. That's a good one.
You finally did it.
Silent Green is people.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that's a fantastic one. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we already talked about it, but the scene where the sister, what's her name? I wanted to call her Sarah, but it's not Sarah. It's
I can look it up quickly.
Girl, what is your name?
Wasn't it something like Lucille or something, or
whatever her name is? Yeah. The scene when we're introduced to her when she's at her art studio and it's her and her two friends.
Yep.
The timing. Brooke. There we go. Thank you. Yep. The timing in that scene is it's so perfect. Yeah. It's so brutal.
Yep.
And the imagery, it just really sets, because it's really early on. It's not the first zombie that we see, but it so sets the tone for what's going to come after. With the girl in makeup is just killer. And then, man, all of Barry's one-liners, man, or Benny. Yes, not Barry. Barry's the main character. Yeah. Dear viewers, if you haven't watched this, then shame on you.
Yep.
But the supporting actor Benny, who is a pure riot, he really masters the art of whatever it is, delivering a line. It's not subtlety, because he's not really subtle. Some of it is subtle, but most of it is just his ability to give a line as that character.
Yeah.
Pure gold.
Yeah.
Pure gold.
That's what we say is in the moment, right? In the moment acting.
Right.
Right?
Oh yeah.
He's just totally there in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's just real.
Yep.
And it's funny. Like every time he says something, you're just laughing.
Right. But not stupidly.
No.
I mean, that's kind of hard, because sometimes it's funny and it's cheeky, right?
Yeah.
I mean, his is, I guess it's a little bit cheeky, but
but it's just something cool about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of how you laugh at like when Clint Eastwood says something.
Right.
Right. It's the same kind of thing. It's just like it's so perfect.
Yeah.
When he kills that guy and shoots the dude, and his watermelon head explodes. He's like, "Is he okay?"
Well, I think you shot him in the face. That's such a great moment, because we're geared up that guy who gets his head blown off. We think, okay, here's gonna be Barry's new buddy, right?
Right.
Okay, they're on good terms now, right?
Yeah.
And then it's instantly that just it's
switch.
so fast. Yep. Pow. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Again, that's just smart filmmaking, right?
It really is. It really is.
Totally.
Yeah. You can't anticipate that, right?
Right.
Or there's no way you can really anticipate it.
Well, and it also like it totally makes you think like, okay, now anything can happen.
Yeah, right.
Because,
there you go.
Because it's the same kind of thing as
no holds barred, right? Yeah, the rules are out the window.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like you can expect it's going to go this way, but we might do this to you. So
right.
It's like I was just watching this interview with Gene Wilder, and there's that classic story of him talking about when he did Willy Wonka.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And we talked about this before.
I think so.
So he's like, they're gonna offer him Willy Wonka, and he's like, I love it. I love the character.
Right.
But I'm not gonna do it unless you let me do this scene that I'm thinking of. And the director's like, what's that? And he's like, well, when we first meet Willy Wonka, I want him to be limping with his cane.
Yes.
And then it sticks in the pavement.
Yep.
And then he falls down, rolls, and then jumps up and dances around, and everybody's clapping and laughing. Yeah. And the director's like, why do you want to do that? And he's like, because from that moment on, you will never know whether I'm lying or telling the truth.
Right. Brilliant.
And that's so key to Willy Wonka. Yeah. And the director's like, so you're not going to do the movie unless we let you do that? And he's like, afraid so. Yeah. I was like,
power play, man. And brilliant too, because he was absolutely
right. I mean, it's classic.
His entire character, is whether or not he's you can believe him,
Yep.
right? You want to believe him, but you're like, well, this guy's weird.
Right. He could be pulling our leg. You know, just because he wants to.
Right.
For no other reason than it just tickles him.
Right.
You know?
right.
He's completely crazy.
Yeah. And he's in a position, he's in such a lofty position, he has no reason to be straight with you, right? I mean, he's just like, he's like,
he
I own
doesn't
all
care.
of this. Yeah.
So
so good. So good. But that's what they pull out. They really do kind of pull one of those moves in this film.
Totally do.
In that you don't get...
So you don't have any trust. You don't have any... Right. You don't feel comfortable. Ever, right.
Ever. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, I heard when Benny's like, hey, gotta pull over. I gotta take a leak. Hey, I gotta pee. They're like, no. Like, yeah, man, I gotta pee. He gets out and he's taking a piss, and then he's pissing on a zombie. He's like, oh. It's so Three Stooges, really but it's like, it's perfect, right? Yeah. What'd you learn? Don't get out of the truck.
It's so good.
Oh man!
And he's like, can you at least put your cock back in your pants?
Yeah. No. I don't got no time for that.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Yeah, and I remember you were saying too when we were watching, like how it's just like they keep introducing these characters and then they just keep killing them off.
They kill them, right.
Yeah, that's great too. You know?
It is.
Because
it is.
Yeah, like that older guy with the mustache.
Oh man, cool. I know. He's great.
Cool. He was really like kind of he had that kind of like the old wise man kind of energy. Right.
Well, yeah, because he's the one who's telling us what's actually happening, right? Yeah. He's the one who describes how the gas breath works and everything. Yep. He's the one who describes the wormwood in the biblical sense, which then Benny is like, oh yeah, well I saw all of the shooting, that explains the meteor shower and everything, and then we lose him, you know. And speaking of him, we've already seen Neville, who they've got stuffed into the freezer, right? But then his other buddy there, when he gets his nose bit off, right? Yeah. It's kind of like oh man,
I know.
I bit your nose off. Your eyes are white. What? Oh man.
Yeah.
And that was cool too, having the having the fast zombie transformation.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And doing it well though. It wasn't there have been others recently where the fast instant zombie thing, it's kind of like they don't do a good job of explaining what's going on or making you care about any of the characters. Then you don't really care that they're fast zombies or that it's a quick transformation or anything. It's just like, oh well, I'm taking it for granted. This film did the exact opposite. It really made you have a vested interest.
Yeah, it did. In pretty fast, easy strokes too, right? Like both the main two characters, you fear for them, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
And that's so key, right? Because if you don't care about the characters, who cares how fast the zombies are and stuff?
That's
right. It's like, who cares? Kill them off then.
That's right. Then you might as well be watching Michael Bay's Friday the 13th.
Yeah, right.
Like, when will you all die?
Please die.
Kill all of these people, please.
But you're like, I want them to survive, you know? So,
yeah.
So then that does add the tension and the fear, like, oh, we hope our characters don't get killed off, you know?
Right.
So that was smart.
Yep.
And that part of that just has to do with good casting, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's not to be underestimated in this film. Yeah.
Like you have to have likable actors, and they do it. So.
Oh man, and not just the good guys either. There's plenty of bad guys. You know, we only ever really see the one paramilitary guy at the end after he takes his mask off. He's been duped and tricked by our Barry, our main character, but. Once he takes his mask off, he's fantastic. Yeah. That guy's great.
Yeah, he really was, yep.
When you really get to... Because we finally get to see one of those guys. There's all of those guys tooling around. But they did that great trick, too, where they would all... Every time we would see them in a group, they'd have all that sweat on the inside of their masks. So you couldn't see their face, which makes them more intimidating. Yes. More like,
stormtroopers.
Yeah, totally stormtrooper. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We now we have a face for the bad guys.
Right.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
Right. And it's cool because there's that kind of ambiguity, when he tells Barry, he's like, "You idiot! We're the good guys. We're trying to you know, we're trying to find the cure or whatever. But then Barry's like, fuck you, you're just trying to kill us.
Yeah, right.
You're worse than the zombies.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the zombie queen on my side than you jack off, you know. And
so true.
I mean, totally true, right? Especially with the doctor and his like totally craziness.
That's pretty political too.
Oh,
what
really?
you say, right?
Yeah.
I think that's very.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't trust the man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'd rather be on the side of the criminals than the law enforcement.
Yep.
Very Australian.
Right. Yes.
Very Australian point of view.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's an entire continent of perfectly good ex-criminals.
Yep. And proud of it. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like that is one thing, you know, to broadly generalize an entire continent of people,
right. An entire group. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think that is kind of what the Australian aesthetic, if you will, is. You know, it's total. No holds barred brutality. Right. It's in your face energy. Right. The comedy is like that.
Yes.
The fashion is like that. Yep. The music.
Yep. So cyberpunk.
The movies.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Everything. There's no tact or. You know, it's the opposite of the British high society you know, you have to go through all of these levels before you can say this, and you know, like. Or the Japanese even too, right? It's like
absolutely.
The rules of how you interact with people, all of the, you know, like there's no rules in Australia. It's
it's I think as Americans we're very sympathetic to if you're gonna be like, we're just, you know, I say this all the time, and it's like, I'm just a Yankee.
Right. We get it. Too.
That,
like,
totally right. I mean, that's what we mean when we, you know, when you kind of say something like that. It's like, man, Wild West type of thing.
Right.
But it seems like Australia just, I mean, totally embraces that.
I mean, and I think on the whole, like America's so fractured and whatever. But on the whole, I think I would say Americans are more sensitive though than Australians. Don't you say? Like we do have areas where we're like, well, you can't say that, or you shouldn't do that, right? You know? Where it seems like Australia,
our puritanical background, we're far more puritanical, right? Yeah.
Even if we hate that shit, we still have that stuff in the back of our psyche.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Where the Australians, I don't
shake the shackles of the Puritans.
But the Australians don't have that at all.
No, totally.
They're
You're
just
absolutely
like,
right.
Fuck yeah.
I know it's totally unrealistic, but it reminds me of that freaking scene in Crocodile Dundee where the transvestite's talking to him and he reaches over and grabs his balls, you know, and he's like, oh, hey, I know what you're doing. It's like
that's kind of what it is.
That's
right?
like what we would expect, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and that's totally it, man. That is totally it. Like we would be like, so what's your boyfriend's name? Or like we'd be trying to like figure out ways to see if this is a boy or a girl.
Do a workaround.
Where the Australians would just reach under the dress.
Reach under there and be like, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I guessed right.
Yeah. Let's get right to it. I love that you mentioned Crocodile Dundee, though.
I know.
That goes back to my one of my favorite skits of all time from SNL.
Yes.
Do you remember David Spade's Hollywood Minute?
Oh, I don't know.
So you know David Spade, like this was kind of how he. I think that's kind of one of his first things on SNL.
Yeah, sure.
Do, you know?
Right.
And it was just the news, and they would just show pictures of people.
Yeah.
And then he would say like one or two things for each person.
Okay.
And it would just be like this Rolodex, like fast.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And he's just so stupid and cynical and like sarcastic, you know.
Right.
And he looks like a 12-year-old kid. Like he was really young when he did that. Too.
Yeah.
But it just flips to Crocodile Dundee out of nowhere, and he just goes, "I need a job, mate," and then it goes to somebody else, and I'll never forget that. Like it just killed me. You know?
Yep.
Because he's just
poor Paul Hogan.
I know.
We love you, Paul.
Yeah,
if you're listening,
he's a legend, man.
Yes.
I mean, you can't front on that first Crocodile Dundee, man.
You can't.
It's
dude, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's classic 80s, man.
Yeah.
It's right up there.
Oh, it really is. Yeah.
It's right up there with all of them.
Yeah.
Gremlins, Ghostbusters.
That's
Goonies,
right. Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, but
Stone,
instead it was in Australia.
Yep. Definitely.
Yep. I was on YouTube the other day because I have nothing to do with my time, but I saw it was Paul Hogan, maybe 1979 ish. He was on like a. So I guess I think he'd been working in entertainment in Australia for a long time, right? Before, because we didn't get him until Crocodile Dundee, right?
Right.
Americans didn't know who the hell he was, but I think he had been entertaining for quite a while.
Yeah.
But he was on like it was like a early morning talk show, coffee with Barbara or whatever, and it was a borderline infomercial,
right?
That they're doing, and you're just like, oh gosh, dude, you came a long way. This is good.
Right.
This is good.
Yeah. And then he recently too. There was a big. You remember that? Like just like a couple years ago, he was in some big thing where, and it was funny because they were making it look like it was going to be like a sequel to Crocodile Dundee or something.
Oh, I do remember this.
But it was a huge ad campaign for just like Australia tourism.
Right. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
But that was pretty good.
Yep. Yeah.
Australia, man.
Gotta go. The land of snakes.
Yep. And wallabies. Yep.
Koalas.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Mad Max. I mean, this is some Australian film is no messing around, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
Mad Max is arguably one of the greatest sci-fi action franchises. Period.
Yeah. Most definitely.
And like you were saying, kind of it's something very raw and brutal about it. I mean, it's easy to confuse the Middle Earth stuff from their close neighbor in New Zealand, but that's not even Australian. That's New Zealand.
Yeah.
With other movies like Babadook, one of my all-time favorite Australian.
Still gotta see that.
Oh,
dang it!
It is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they just have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see that it's evident in Wyrmwood.
Oh
too,
man,
to
the max. For how it wants to be serious. There are plenty of times when it's serious, but no, you're right. The having fun part.
Yeah.
Probably not to the extent of Evil Dead 2, but in the same manner.
Yeah.
Where it's got to engage you, not just in a serious way, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
And this movie is riddled with that. Particularly in dialogue, but in the storytelling, and man, just in the visuals. We hinted at talking at that earlier, but you really said it when we were watching it, and I was thinking the exact same thing. It's like the way they're able to jump between day scenes and night scenes, and then really washed out colors,
yes.
and then super saturated.
Yes.
Like anytime they're in the van, in the truck, just radically saturated. White, red, and yellow.
Yes.
And they kind of jump around with that, but it doesn't seem it's not in a bad way, not in a hodgepodge way where you're like, oh, dude, your cinematographer's an idiot.
No.
It really seems more like either happy accident or by design, hopefully.
Totally. Yeah, there's some moments where it almost feels like it's black and white too.
It does. It really does. Yeah.
But it's always interesting. I mean, like that's another great thing that they really just excelled at, I think, was just the colorization the colors are constantly interesting in this. Where again, in a lot of low budget movies, this is the last thing they're thinking of.
There'll be none. Yeah, really. It's whatever you got on
whatever's
film.
there. Yeah.
Right.
But this is really, there's a lot of attention paid to color.
Yeah. And I wonder too, because one of the first movies I think of where color is super important, but and we mentioned it, is Reanimator.
Yes.
The visuals in Reanimator are mind blowing at times. It will really fry your brain.
Those blue zombies
with the blue and the white, on the white sterile background, and then just the blood and
and the neon green.
Yes. Oh man, the horrible light. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this really does that. That's in the same way.
Yes. Only there weren't any naked zombies in this one. Interesting. Which is pretty much all of Reanimator.
That is so true. I don't think there was any nudity in this, was there?
Good.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, not really any sexuality. There's kind of the flashback scene where he's taking a shower with his wife, but they're not.
It's very quick.
Yep.
And they didn't really show anything.
The zombies definitely are not. There's nothing. They're not getting anything sexual about it. It's just like foul.
Yeah.
It's kind of disturbing and disgusting zombies.
Definitely.
Whereas Reanimator toys with you, right? Like it wants to titillate you, but you're just like, oh, this is sick and wrong.
Yeah. You know what else I was thinking too is when you were mentioning about the day and the night scenes and inside the car and the trucks and everything.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it's a road trip movie in a way, right?
Oh,
where
it
it's
is.
like
Absolutely it is.
They're always on the move.
That's right. Yep.
And that's kind of one of the engines, like just pushing the story forward.
Absolutely. No, you totally got it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, because like part of one of the huge deals of this whole movie is like, we need more zombies for gas so we can keep moving.
Right.
But then like, where the hell are they going?
Well, so remember they're going to
Balu Balu or something?
Balu Balu, right? They're going to the town of Balu Balu to find the sister.
Yeah.
But they obviously... But so they're always kind of pushing to get there, but then they find her obviously because she's in the truck, right? And they kind of find her by accident.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so you're right. So the first part, they're really just trying to find the sister,
because Barry, convinces the guys, hey, we want to go to Balu Balu. That's why they want the truck, right? And they convince the dude who gets his nose bitten off and the old timer to be like, okay, well, let's go get her.
Yeah,
and then it's kind of the
Yeah,
and it's weird because it's different than a chase scene, right? It's not like a big long chase scene. There's plenty of chase scenes with the zombies. That's more like just straight combat kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's more like it's one of those journeys. We're trying to get
somewhere.
To Balu Balu.
Yep.
And
they
don't even end up needing to get there, which is
Well, and it's interesting too if you contrast that with like, almost most of the other zombie movies is always like, Dawn of the Dead, prime example, we're going to stay in one spot and hold ourselves up.
We need to find a way to hold up.
Yeah. And then the zombies are just going to be these endless waves coming at us.
Right.
This is the opposite of that. It's
we're
going to keep moving.
I mean, Night of the Living Dead too, right? They get in the house, board the house up. I mean, that really sets the standard for that, because there's so many examples of, hey, we're going to take off running, and either you find out that's the worst thing to do because you're just going to run out of ammo, right? And then eventually you're overtaken, or you take the Night of the Living Dead example where we see after whatever the main character's name is, I'm gaping on it.
Oh yeah.
But he gets killed, right? The search parties are coming and they kill him, and then you find out in the next day that everybody's getting together and just banding up to go and do big sweeps and kill zombies off, right? To where you're tricked and you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have holed up. I should have went and found other people, but you're so scared.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, everybody's a zombie, right? There's always that question: is everybody a zombie or is it just me? And even in this one, they do that too, because it's like when the guys find each other and they're like, oh, wait, you're not a zombie. Oh, I'm not a zombie. Right. It's like, okay, band together.
Yeah.
And you're always trying to get together with other non-infected people, non-infected types. But does it turn into hold steady and wait, or does it turn into you got to push on?
Keep moving.
I mean, probably whatchamacallit, the AMC show.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead probably gets into that the most, right? Yeah. Like, what are the strategies?
Yes.
And that point's better than anything, in that people, other survivors are far worse than the zombies.
Yeah. Right.
Pick your friends carefully, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And 28 Days Later was kind of similar to, I guess, where it was like
absolutely
they're trying to find the civilization, right?
Yeah. And, find the promised land.
Yep.
Zombieland was that way too, right? Hey, we got to get to California. We got to get to California. We got to get to California, even though they all knew there's no point.
There's nothing there, but
we'll get to the amusement park. But.
Yeah, we can eat some Twinkies.
Right. Just get me Twinkies. He finds that fucking Hostess truck. Genius. Yeah. Oh man. And speaking of which, Bill Murray's going to be in another fantastic zombie movie.
It does look great.
I'm going to be crying like a little punk, my dear Peter, because you'll be in China and I'll have to watch that by myself.
It's coming out soon, dude.
Okay.
It's coming out really soon. I think like actually tomorrow is like opening day.
What?
Or something. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So we will get to see it together.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Dang. Good. I thought it was coming out. Yeah. Like at the end of summer or something. Okay.
What was it called? Not Better Off Dead.
It's something like that. Yeah. And it's what's his name? Kylo Ren.
Yep. Kylo Ren's in it. Bill Murray. Yeah, it looks good. I'm just I'm crossing my fingers because for me Jim Jarmusch is kind of hit or miss.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
And there's been a few times where I've been excited about a movie of his, and then I watch it, I'm like, what is this?
Right,
you know?
Right.
So it looks like he's doing it right though from the trailer. So.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping.
I mean, but I was just gonna say you can't go wrong with Bill Murray,
you
can go wrong with
you
Bill
can.
Murray. You can.
I mean, for how awesome he is.
Yeah,
right?
there have been some duds that he's done.
Yeah,
where it's just painful to sit through.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been good in the movies he does, but at the same time,
right. But that doesn't mean that the movies were good in the first place.
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Unfortunately,
yeah.
That's kind of the curse of, regardless of how good of an actor you are.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't carry an entire movie all the time.
Nope.
So, but yeah, that's we gotta just roll the dice on that.
We do. I think it's gonna be good. Yeah. I'm gonna go in blind faith here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hope for a good one.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the zombies they're here to stay, you know. I mean,
they are. We've talked about this a little bit before, man. Really, it's interesting. It's been going on so long now with having so many good zombie films in a row for so many years,
and zombie TV shows too.
And shows, right? And I mean, and speaking of The Walking Dead, you know, The Walking Dead now is easily one of the most successful independent comic books of all time.
Of all time,
I mean, even, you know, I think Spawn is usually kind of the benchmark there, but they're kind of like right up Spawn's butt, if not better.
I'm sure.
And I'm sure monthly sales, they probably beat it.
Yep. For sure. Yeah, and so it's just kind of like, you know, there's waves of popularity, but it never really goes away completely. Right. Even I didn't watch too much of it. I still need to see. But Game of Thrones has some zombie kind of elements
absolutely
too, right?
Yeah. So I watched the whole thing there. Yeah. Really, your main enemy ends up being a zombie horde.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, just like the
walkers.
Yeah, the endless fascination with the living dead.
Right.
So.
I think it's what scares Americans so much, you know. It's that whole I go to work and I'm a drone. I don't do anything.
Yep.
You know, all I amount to is being a hordeite, basically.
Yep.
There's this mindless horde, and I'm part of that.
And it's that hunger for consumerism.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's like
we need to consume. Eat your brains. Well, it's
true,
not your
man.
brains. It's like cheap.
Just
I need
stuff.
to consume cheap shit.
Yeah. Yep. Stuff we don't even need, as Tyler from Fight Club would say.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Tyler Durden?
I forget. Yeah. Don't buy soap from him.
Yeah, right. That's the main thing. That's the main thing to remember about him.
Never buy Fight Club soap.
Yeah.
It's made out of people. It's made out of Soylent Green.
Made out of Soylent Green.
No. My skin is so good, I can't give it up.
But I was gonna say though, what was I gonna say? No, what I was gonna say was I have that though. I have that endless gnawing hunger to buy stuff.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Every
Guilty,
day I'm
man.
looking at
Guilty.
eBay. Every day I'm looking at eBay.
Yeah, I know.
You know? I don't need to buy any more from there, but I'm always.
I know.
I want brains.
Yes.
Brains.
Yeah. Like I need this stuff to fill these like 5 seconds in my life, or
right.
even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour. We're like, oh well, dang! Now I'm straddled with all this stuff.
I know. It's terrible.
Really reminds me. I mean, really. We talk about Philip K. Dick so much because he's the fucking king.
Yeah.
But do androids dream of electric sheep? The idea of the kipple, you know, kipple overrunning, right? It's like everybody leaves Earth, and the people who can't stay, and they just go around and collect this fucking junk.
Yeah.
And then their houses are just overrun, right? It's all this weird cluttery stuff, and it's all stuff that at once was so important, but now becomes utterly useless
worthless
crap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I think that was such a
what a statement.
It's kind of a small statement in that book, but it's very, very poignant and very, very important. I think because that gets into the, his whole more human than human. What does being human mean?
Yep.
And then the weird crap that humans do.
Yeah. Totally.
Yep. Yeah, and what's left when everybody abandons Earth, right? Just all of the crap we made. Just all of this crap.
Yeah, I know. Just endless.
Yep.
We also have to, I don't think we mentioned it on air, but our favorite line from Wyrmwood was when the dude says, "This track runs on zombies. No zombies, no track."
The best. The best. What an understatement.
Yeah, that was great.
It's like the light goes off, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't make gas during the night. Oh.
That could, instead of calling it Road of the Dead, they should just say Wyrmwood. This truck runs on zombies.
Yes.
Right?
Okay,
that's
viewers,
everything.
If you want us to make a shirt that has Benny's face on it with him saying "No truck, no zombies, no truck,"
Yep.
Let us know. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I would wear that shirt, man.
I would wear it. I would wear it.
So good.
I want it to be orange with a huge Benny face on it.
Yeah. And say Aussie, Aussie, oi, oi, oi underneath it, or on the back.
On the back, yes. And have it be a tank top.
Yeah. That should be our uniform for we're doing this podcast.
It should be. It should be. All right, at Comic-Con, people, when you come see us at our table,
right.
meet and greet Peter and Dr. K.
Yep.
We'll have those shirts on, so be sure to look for us.
Yes, that's right.
Who the fuck are you guys?
This track runs on zombies.
No zombies,
no zombies, no track.
Oh, good stuff. You notice in this movie too, they don't ever eat. I noticed that when they were throwing the meat. What made me think of it was when they go to get the truck, right? So they're all in the barn, and they go to pull the truck in, and they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" Right?
Yeah.
They take all the meat out of the freezer and they throw the meat at the zombies so they would eat it.
Did they eat right before that though? Remember, they did. Remember, they had sandwiches.
Oh,
it was really quick though. It was really quick.
It was.
Because the reason I remember that is they grab the onions with their hands.
That's right.
And just shove it on the bread and start eating it.
It's so foul.
But that's how people in Australia eat all the time.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Just a raw onion on a piece of bread.
Just use your hands. Come on.
There's another fantastic scene in there when Neville is in the freezer. And it's the shot is from Neville's POV, right? And so you're looking up and you see these 3 faces or 4 faces looking down at you, and then they all reach in and grab beers out.
Yeah.
They close the lid.
That was great.
Like, what's he doing in there? Mind him.
Yeah. There was a couple of times like that where they just highlight the importance of beer.
Yes.
Right?
When the other guy's dying, right?
Open up the medical box.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a bandage? No. And there's just a beer.
Beer. Yeah. It's cool. It's the human things, right? I mean, it's funny, but it is kind of like you kind of resort to your most, what makes you most authentically human in the end. Yeah. Especially faced with being turned into a freaking zombie.
No kidding. Yeah. Yeah, good flick. Yeah. Very fun.
Yeah, people, if you haven't seen it, we've just sat here and talked for 53 minutes about how good it is, but
and we've always mentioned it too.
We do
over the course of a year.
We do, at least for the last 15 episodes.
So it feels good to actually all right, we've talked about it now.
And we've done really good tonight, Peter. We haven't talked about Highlander. We haven't talked about Lorenzo Lamas.
I know.
We haven't talked about Stone Cold for shit's sake.
Man.
Dang it. Maybe we're slipping.
Well, there is so many great tangents we could go on.
There are. Glenn Danzig, for that matter.
Glenn Danzig, yes. And
speaking of horror movies, that wouldn't even be a tangent, right?
Yeah.
So, people, if you were checking the news out today, Glenn Danzig got absolutely trashed in a review on
and laughed at too
on Vice or somewhere. He got kind of laughed out of the theater because his long-awaited horror masterpiece movie was just total garbage from what it sounds like. An unwatchable mess.
the headline was, did Glenn Danzig just make the horrors version of The Room?
Yeah,
You know?
right.
The horror anthology of The Room.
Yeah.
So that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I want to see it.
Me too. I know. Yeah, that's funny, right?
Yeah.
We're gluttons for punishment,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, if it's bad, we got to see it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
But I was also going to mention Stallone's Last Blood.
Yeah,
too. Did you
right.
see the trailer for
yes,
that?
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, man, are we back in the 80s now? Like all these things are coming back.
Do you know what's funny too, Pete? And viewers, do this. Go and look at stills from each of the Rambo movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Stallone will look less and less like a human being to you. I did this.
Right.
I looked at some side-by-sides because what made me think of it was somebody had already done it and they'd shown the last Rambo 4 or whatever it was. Right. And then they showed this movie, which was 10 years ago. Yeah. And he looks like he's aged 25 years.
Jeez.
Right. Because he's not a young guy anymore. And I'm not picking on him because he's old.
No.
But the problem is he's a 70-year-old guy playing a 39-year-old guy.
Yes. Yep.
And I understand that actors love doing that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. But
you got to stop at a certain point.
You do. Arnold and Terminator Part 9.
Yeah, like
listen to us.
That's crazy that the previous Rambo was 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And he looked like a mutant.
Yes.
You know, he's
that's
just
what
like
I'm saying.
Like just weirdly puffy. And veiny.
And it's even like it's kind of in the extreme of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing. So I own all of the Rambos, and I would say they're awesome. You sit down and watch all 4 of them. They're great.
Oh, he's a genius, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Stallone is a straight up genius.
Yeah. Expendables.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a funny thing when it came out, and I watched it, and I was like, brilliant.
Yeah.
This is the action movie we had been waiting 15 years for.
Forever.
And he cashed in all his chips and got all those guys together and did the 3 movies, and they were great.
They were great.
Except for Van Damme, who was an idiot.
Right.
He's like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
He missed out.
Yeah, but for him to get all those guys together with all those egos going on,
right.
Like, that's no mean feat.
Right.
That's no mean feat.
Right. Yeah. But no, so who knows? Maybe this Rambo will not be too crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm worried.
I guess the problem is he's a smart filmmaker. He's a smart guy. Sure. I mean, he wrote the script for Rocky. I mean, come on, you know.
Yeah.
But
another great franchise. Yeah.
But I think it was smart when they started going into the Creed direction.
Yeah, I did too.
Like that's really, I feel like that's what he should be doing. Is like helping to
make
usher something out.
World around it.
Yep.
Right.
And kind of stand in the sidelines, but like help shape it.
Sure.
But you don't need to be standing there with your shirt off in the middle of the stage because nobody wants to see that.
In the middle of Burma, battling pythons with your M60, shooting an M60 one-handed, like the freaking Punisher.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that.
Yeah,
goes.
We'll see.
We'll see how that goes.
That'll be it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it is heartening that it's called Last Blood. I know. Okay, so there is an ending. So.
There is an ending, and I thought, stupid me, I thought when the last one came out, which is called John Rambo.
John Rambo, yeah.
Right? Okay, so at the end of John Rambo, we see him go back to Arizona, back to his family farm, and they do the exact reverse shot of what the first movie starts with, right? Which is that super huge boom, which is focused in on him, and then it backs up, and we see him walking up I-5 into Portland or wherever he's walking up here, right? So at the end of John Rambo, they did the exact opposite of that. And they show him walking the super long road down to his family farm, and we assume he's finally getting to go back home, which was kind of the idea in the first one, but he was going to see his friend, and his friend had died and all of that. And I thought, that's awesome. That's fantastic, because he'd been living in Burma, and he's being kind of a total recluse, and but now he gets home, but then apparently it looks like he's got to go to Central America and fight El Salvadorians or something. I'm not quite sure. I didn't quite get who he was fighting.
I don't know.
But he definitely looks like he ends up in Central America.
Yeah, but
or maybe it's in Arizona.
Yeah, some of it looks like it's in Arizona where he's just like
it's just
people are trying to come into his farm or something too.
Okay, yeah. So
that might be a big part of it too.
Maybe it's
he's setting booby traps and yeah. The El Salvadorians are trying to take over his Arizona farm. But maybe the whole reason this movie exists, though, is because Last Blood is a pretty damn cool title.
That's true.
And he was just like, somebody brought it up. Yeah, and he's like, dang, we should have used that for the last one. Okay, we got to make another one.
Yep. Yeah. Which is interesting. I watched all the making of stuff for John Rambo, and he'd actually shot that before he did Rocky, but then he got greenlit to do Rocky, and he had self-funded John Rambo. Wow. And so what happened was he got such a big check to do Rocky, he waited to release Rambo after Rocky came out.
Gotcha.
And so I thought that was super cool. That wasn't a studio pushing John Rambo on him. That was like his deal. And I think it's probably because Expendables did so good. He's kind of like, I've got money. I can finally do this.
Yep.
But then I wonder. So now I'm super curious as to what the story is for Last Blood.
Yeah, we should check it out.
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa was really good. I thought
it was.
It was really good. That was like a good final chapter.
Yep.
Yep. It even had it just had a lot of that 80s energy too. I was like, wow. Yeah. He can still do it. You know?
Without Tommy Gunn butchering and not giving Tommy Gunn giving lines worse than Dolph Lundgren.
Exactly. Yep.
First, I'll go with a Dutch actor, but in the movie he'll be Russian, and he'll not give hardly any lines, and none of them will be given well. And then I'll get an actual boxer who isn't an actor and have him butcher all of his lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great.
Good old Rambo.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
But where's Lorenzo Lamas? Where is Lorenzo
Lamas?
What is he doing?
Well, we did see the. You saw that wonderful
Snake Eater.
Snake Eater.
So
Snake Eater.
If anyone has seen Snake Eater, let us know.
Let us know because the VHS cover art for it is beyond awesome.
What did you say in the comment there? It was like dirtier than Dirty Harry.
Yeah, dirtier than Dirty Harry.
Yeah, and then you're like dirtier than a Dirty Sanchez.
But half as interesting.
That's so good. That's how you sell your movies with Lorenzo Lamas, baby.
Oh man. What are we doing next, Pete? What are we doing next?
Well, after you get back from the wilds of Cali, Cali town, I think it's time to go to Cronenberg.
Okay, me too. So we're absolutely agreed. Yep. Videodrome.
Yep.
Scanners.
Videodrome or scanners. Or the Fly.
Yep.
We will have to do all of them eventually.
Yes.
So we just have to choose one to start
with.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we can go chronologically. Scanners, I think, was first.
Scanners, right? I think, was first. Yeah. I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah. It would be good to start with his early stuff, I think.
Yep. Although you did pick Videodrome as your favorite movie from the 80s.
Oh, definitely.
For your favorite horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm chomping at the bit to talk about Videodrome. Yeah. So we could do that easily.
Yeah. But I guess that's it. Which do we want to talk about more?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm thinking. I guess it's kind of selfish because I just saw Videodrome recently, probably a couple months ago. Yeah. But I haven't seen Scanners.
Oh, okay.
For a few years.
There we go. Me neither.
So, yeah.
Me neither. And I just got us copies for the show. Yeah. Of both of those movies. So got The Fly. Mm-hmm. Got well, I guess he didn't direct Nightbreed, but that's another great Cronenberg movie.
Yes.
Who directed Nightbreed? Tommy.
Clive Barker didn't direct it either.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah.
But Cronenberg is the main bad guy.
Yeah. He's awesome.
I think he's just an actor in that film. Yeah.
We're definitely going to have to do that one, though, too.
Yes.
And Existence.
Oh, yes.
What a weird movie.
Right?
Isn't
it so funny? I swear. And it's spelled just like extends, which is like the boner pills, I think, right? But it was like 25 years before.
Before what is it? Well, it's not Prozac.
Yeah. The blue pill.
Yeah.
Shows obviously
Viagra,
we don't need
Viagra.
Viagra. There we go.
That's it. Yep. Yeah.
We're still strapping young.
Yep. We don't need it for a few years.
Yep. Then we'll need 5 or 10 at a time. Right. We'll get high on Viagra and extends.
I just saw there's a great meme where it was like a guy and a girl in bed, you know, and they got their backs to each other, and she's kind of like looking all upset, and then he's got like a Halloween mask on, and it says she's thinking like maybe he's seeing somebody else. He met another woman. And then he's thinking, oh, Halloween 3 wasn't that bad. It's just great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, Halloween 3 wasn't that bad.
Tom Adkins, it wasn't that bad.
Right. He's right, though, too. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I still think that movie purely has the stigma against it because it's not Michael Myers.
Yeah.
You have to just be like, F that. Okay, Michael Myers isn't in it.
Yeah.
Give me a Halloween movie.
Yep.
And from that respect, it's a good flick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not nearly as good as the first Halloween by any means.
No.
But it would have been Halloween Part 3 anyway.
Yeah.
So you're a dummy if you think, oh yeah, it's going to be as good as that.
Right.
And it is a good premise. I mean, you put the masks on, you get brain controlled.
Yeah.
Then when you die, you turn into a pile of bugs or whatever it is.
Right. I mean,
that's great.
I get what Carpenter was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's
absolutely.
just like he just never realized the power of how awesome Mike Myers.
Yeah,
Michael
that
Myers
was it.
was,
right. He underestimated.
He
the power
underestimated
of Mike Myers,
it. He just
villain.
thought that's just another character. Now we can do more Halloween stories.
Right.
No.
Right.
You cannot.
Right. You know who really killed that was Bryan Singer with Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
He really, as far as modern day horror anthologies, that movie is sweet.
Really?
Scares my wife to death.
I gotta see that.
It's good. It is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
Maybe 10 years ago, probably.
Okay.
Yep, it's Bryan Singer. It's got the cover of it has it looks like a kid wearing a giant Halloween pumpkin mask holding a trick-or-treat bag.
Okay.
And it's spelled trick apostrophe R treat.
Okay.
Because Trick or Treat, they couldn't get the rights to use Trick or Treat because of the Gene Simmons movie from 1989 or so. That was starring him, Ozzy Osbourne, and the kid from some TV show, Growing Pains. It was Skippy, the neighbor from Growing Pains. Yeah, see, it's coming back to me. He's the main character in it.
Wasn't that Boner? Wasn't his name Boner?
Oh, was that? Show? Well, which one had Skippy? It's the Skippy kid.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, one of them is Boner.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not Boner, it's Skippy, whichever show he was in.
He might have been in Growing Pains too.
Regardless.
Yeah.
It's that actor playing a teenager, and it's all about devil worship and heavy metal music that resurrects a huge demon.
Yes.
And the demon in it is like a super shitty looking Pumpkinhead.
Wow.
Like if you had Pumpkinhead and we're like, yeah, that's cool, and then made it suck.
Yeah.
That's the monster in this film. And it's got like a demon possessed rock and roll heavy metal guy.
Is Alice Cooper in it?
No, unfortunately.
Surprised.
No, it's great because Ozzy Osbourne plays a TV evangelist. And then Gene Simmons plays a radio DJ who's trying to steer this Skippy character in the right direction. But unwittingly gives him the demo that only 10 of these demos were ever made, and then that's got the devil music on it that resurrects the freaking shitty looking, not good Pumpkinhead.
Awesome. I love it.
I just gave too much of that piece of crap away. If you haven't seen it, people. So here's where I bought that one. Another good one that I got out of the freaking $4.77 bin at Walmart, right?
Man.
That thing was a treasure trove. I really did score some super good stuff.
What was the one? So I sent you a while back a little video of Tim Curry dancing in some Halloween movie. What was that one called?
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, I know what this one is. And,
that's The Worst Witch.
I think that was it.
Yeah, where you're singing. Singing and dancing. He's got a big cape on.
Yep.
That's Farouja Balk.
Yep.
I think that, and that's got what's her name, Mrs. Garrett from Facts of Life and Different Strokes.
Yeah.
She's in it. Ray I forget what her last name is. Ray McCallahan or something. I'm just making that shit up.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Anyway, Mrs. Garrett's in it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The lady from Harry Potter. She's the head of one of the houses.
Right.
I forget which one.
Yeah,
the head sorceress girl.
Right.
Lady. She's in it.
Mm-hmm.
As much younger.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a piece of work, and it's great because it's like a Technicolor musical with Tim Curry.
Yeah, it's like
singing,
the 80s.
Everybody coming out on Halloween, where you might come and get a slap or something. It's so cornhole.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant.
It was like made for TV too.
Yeah, made for TV. Oh yeah. It was either made for like PBS or it was BBC. It was one or the other.
Speaking of, we also need to mention to people the other thing you just showed me the other day, the LeVar Burton made for TV.
Midnight special. Now, what's that thing called? The Midnight something?
I can't remember.
Oh, people.
It's right over there. You should grab it. Yeah.
Hold on. Let's look.
Yeah. We love LeVar Burton.
Yeah, there it is. We do love LeVar Burton.
I mean, he's great.
Okay, 1985's The Midnight Hour with Sherry Belafonte Harper, LeVar Burton, and Dick Van Patten. And his name isn't on here, which is crazy because he's one of the main guys, but it's the dude from 21 Jump Street.
Oh.
Not...
Like Peter DeLuise or something.
Yeah, DeLuise, the DeLuise kid. Yeah. He's in it, and it's great because he's a 29-year-old playing an 18-year-old, and LeVar Burton's a 29-year-old playing an 18-year-old.
And they're pretending to be zombies and stuff.
They pretend to be zombies. So what it is like it's a cash grab. It came out the year after Thriller. Right? Or Thriller was maybe like 1983 or 84. The video, I mean, not the album, but whenever the video came out. You know, that was America was taken by storm by dancing zombies, right? So these a-holes over at CBS were like, hey, let's make a 2-hour LeVar Burton special, Halloween special called The Midnight Hour, and it'll be a bunch of zombies. Okay, go.
Oh, man.
That's the film.
The cover alone sells it, people.
Dude, doesn't it?
It's just, it looks great.
Yeah.
It cannot be bad.
No, no. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that guy's face.
I know. Yeah,
it's gold. It's gold.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole another spin-off show where we just talk about LeVar Burton projects.
That's right. Reading Rainbow. We'll go through all 25 seasons of Reading Rainbow.
We'll talk ad infinitum about how he could never get any chicks in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I know. Wasn't that just miserable?
Yeah.
Even Worf got Troy.
I know.
And he couldn't get.
What?
They're like, no, we don't like your visor.
I don't know what it was.
We don't like your white eyeballs. After he got regular vision.
He had such a hard time.
He did. That was not fair.
And that's
it's kind of like he was carrying the Mr. Scott cross, you know?
Yeah.
Mr. Scott in the original was a great guy, but he never got the girls either. He was just always getting drunk and beating people up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
They were just too sciencey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They loved the ship. That's what it was.
The ship.
See, that's it.
That was what they were.
That was definitely Mr. Scott's problem.
Yeah.
He was in love with the ship. And I think Geordi too.
And Geordi also was in love with a hologram program too.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
He could never get over that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, you got problems. That's funny because that was Blade Runner 2049, right?
Yeah.
An android in love with a hologram.
Right.
Or wondering if he was in love. He couldn't
Yeah.
quite make his mind up, but you're right.
Geordi predated that whole thing, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Look at that.
Genius.
Man. Oh, it is. Well, there you go, people. There was our totally nothing to do with Wyrmwood 10-minute rant.
Yeah, we needed to.
We didn't even get to Stone Cold, so
no.
Thank yourselves, people. No, we did get to Stone Cold. Give me a second, people. Look at this. So Peter and I have been touting Stone Cold for as long as we've been doing this show.
Yeah, a few months at least.
Yes. And you're not even going to believe. Somebody else, and I don't know who it is, go on YouTube and find out, posted, and the video is titled exactly this. Best movies you didn't know about.
Oh.
Stone Cold.
Yeah.
So, those are words that you and I have both said exactly that.
So right.
And he just posted it. So, I don't know if he was reading our minds or he listened to our.
He's a big fan.
Yes, he's a fan of ours.
Yeah.
And listened to our wonderful Stone Cold rant.
Yeah.
Or our 5-minute top 5, where we went on for 4 minutes and 59 seconds about how good it is. But it is really true.
Yeah.
That for a big budget action movie, nobody knows about that film, and it's pure gold. It's pure gold.
It's the Steel Dawn of Brian Bosworth.
You're right.
Movies.
You're right.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, Steel Dawn, another Swayze, man.
We need to talk more about Rutger Hauer too.
We do.
That guy's awesome.
Blind Fury.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Escape from Sobibor.
Oh, that movie's great. Yeah. Yep.
So many good ones.
Hobo with a Shotgun.
Hobo with a Shotgun was just
Sin City.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in a million good ones. Oh, that's another thing. He's prolific too. He's been in so many. He's been in so much. But, yeah.
Blind Fury.
Blind Fury. What a great one.
What a great one.
Oh, fighting on a tram.
Yep. Man.
Gotta love it.
Indeed. Well,
all right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
Yep.
We've hopefully wasted enough of your time and turned you on to some great films to see, particularly Wyrmwood.
Oh, go
because
see
it's pure gold. Pure gold. You
buy
cannot
it.
go wrong. Just buy it. Just get it. Yeah, because you'll watch it 10 times.
Give them money so that they can make a sequel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what we did.
Right.
Yep, they do need to.
Yeah.
And if highbrow stuff like that isn't up your alley, go out and find a copy of The Midnight Hour. And it's pretty lowbrow for you.
Where did you find that anyway?
I had to get a bootleg copy.
Wow.
Because the originals are out there, but it was like one of those one pressing in 2001,
right.
and so they're all going for like $80 or $200. I saw one for $200. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you do not want to spend $200 on any movie.
Right.
I can't think of a single movie I would spend that much money on.
None.
And we love movies.
Yes, we do. You have to be smart enough to know that eventually it's going to end up in the $4.77 bin at freaking Walmart.
Right.
All movies do.
All movies end up there.
You just have to be able to hold your wad, as they say, because nothing stays out of print.
For sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
People just can't. They get over anxious, and that's where eBay will end you. Will end your bank account if you fall for that crap.
No kidding.
But anyway, I found a copy on eBay for. I think I paid $10 or $12 for it. So,
yep, beautiful.
Yep.
And stay tuned for our Scanners episode.
That's right. Coming next, we're dipping our toe into the grossness that is the awesome David Cronenberg.
We get to talk about Michael Ironside too.
Right.
Man.
Oh man, that's gonna open up a can of worms, isn't it?
Totally.
Okay. So until then, good, wonderful internet.
Yep.
Thanks for hanging out with us here at the Neighborhood Watch, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.